welcome to 1119, which is really the end of our portaling energy of the gateway, right? The 1111 has come. We have really anchored in and manifested and gotten very clear on our intentions for not only what we've been working on this month, but also what we're trying to bring in for 2020. And so here at the 1119, this is the first quarter moon, which is all about releasing. I just want to I keep messing this up. This is the last quarter moon. I had that voice say, nope, it's not the first quarter. So this 11/19th, we're at the last quarter of the moon phase, which is all about releasing. And so as we come here to the end of the month and get into the 20s, which the 20th, the 21st, and on all the way up till the 30th of this month, it really gives us a chance to look at the potential duality of what we are intending to create. Again, life is all about tapping into the expansiveness of everything we can conceptualize, everything we can be in connection to, and then we're asked to live our life in a very connected way, a very present way, that we can then make those fine-tuning adjustments and shifts that are needed so that we can manifest the clearest, easiest path forward. And so the 20s bring in all of these opportunities to take a look at what we're creating, and if we're creating more duality, pattern, or limitation into our path, or if we're actually moving out of those things that have been holding us back and opening up into the infinite potential that we've intended for ourselves. And so just a real quick recap for the red and the blue path. So if you picked the red path this month, it was all about progress. It was about building this foundation for yourself this month, right? Building the foundation, the beginning bricks of that foundation getting laid here through your intention, through everything you've been changing with yourself, to really usher in the new beginning for you starting January of next year. And you'll have already started to get some movement and direction towards this, right? And you should have already gotten some validation with this. But it was really about starting to get very clear. It's like almost drawing up the blueprints of what you want. So you probably were doing a lot of, you might have had a lot of different like I got myself a bullet journal, another journal, right? So you might have gotten like another journal and made it very specifically for what you've been intending or planning. You might have started a new practice that really gets you very clear and intentional about what you're trying to create for yourself. So it's all about kind of starting the framework, starting the process for these things. And so your potential duality will come up right now, right here around this last quarter moon, where we're really supposed to release the density, release the patterns. And for you, it's all about relationships and your power, right? So if you're still hanging on to the old version of you that, and I'm just gonna go for this, like needed to have the power, needed to be right, needed to fill in the blank here, but whatever your old paradigm, the old version of you would have done to control, to manipulate, or even be controlled or manipulated. You know, you could have been the one on the receiving end of this, and you could need to step into your full power here to reclaim this. But it's all about kind of either giving your power away to a one-on-one relationship where you need to reclaim that power of the self, or it's you were the domineering, you were the one that was kind of operating on autopilot and steamrolling other people and taking their power. So this will be kind of what comes up for you over the next 10 days, 9 days, as you get to kind of stare your old self in the face and really see if you're going to make the decisions when you get tested that move you out of that old pattern, because that old pattern will recreate a foundation for you moving forward that will just be roping you right back into the old version of self, right? It won't be elevating you any higher. It will keep you kind of locked into the same paradigm of what you're coming from. And so for the blue path, my blue path was all about the purpose of this month was Archangel Gabriel, who teaches us all about co-creation, and that we are the ones that get to create and manifest this reality. It's almost like the magic behind manifestation. And so I love that red path was all about kind of the human version of how we have to draw blueprints, get those approved by the city, and then we can start building, right? It's very human, like structure, black and white, regimented way to manifest, where the blue path is all about this kind of like magical release, just know that it's going to happen as long as you intend it, and you stay high vibe and high emotions and all the good feelings, it's all going to come true, right? So it's like more of the magical means to manifestation is this blue path. And the dysfunction or the duality that you could be stepping into come here, these 20s of this November month, it's all about maturing. And maturing is all about not being able to kind of finish what you started. It's about not being able to sustain that energy. Again, to trust completely that that you have everything you need, that you have learned everything you needed to learn, that you are the vessel that can co-create what you need into this reality. If you go back into past patterns, coming from the 9/9, the big completion moment that you had in September, or around that time, when really big patterns were finishing for you. Huge monumental things kind of shifted around September. The big master completion or a big awareness that came in and had really kind of jumped you up into this next level of trust and opening and vulnerability. We have a tendency that when we get into that level of vulnerability to really be in it for just a hot quick minute, and then we get roped back into human life, and we start distrusting that what we experienced, what we were kind of privy to, all of the good feelings, all of those amazing connections, that could really be a sustainable plan moving forward. That if we just trust and believe and open our heart and stay vulnerable, that everything's going to happen as it should. And so we start to doubt and distrust. And so for you here, the duality around this part of the month comes in where if you're not keeping that maturation that you achieved, or that maturing, it's like a group collective being entangled into being entangled with kind of the higher energetics of the heart chakra, and just open and trusting that it's all going to work out how it should work out to serve your highest and greatest good. And so if you find yourself distrusting or going into closing down, putting up shields, layers of protection between you and the world because things aren't quite looking yet how you think they should, right? If you have expectation over how it should be showing up and it's not quite there yet, then this will create the duality that you kind of step into and pattern back into your phase over the next few days. So that's just kind of a quick touch. And again, this being the last quarter moon, I highly suggest that you do something to really release. If it's I love like fire burning, paper burning ceremonies. Write down, what it is that you're connected to that might show up as the duality, and just release it, burn it, write it on a piece of paper, and just put it over a flame of a candle and burn it. And as it burns, just know that that's no longer a part of you, that won't trigger you, that won't come back, that you've graduated past it. I love that. It's just so simple. Tonight for a release, you could also do a really nice kind of meditation at night before you go to bed, where you just allow yourself to kind of visualize a bubble as you're going to bed, and just send into it all of the things that could possibly take you off your path, that could trigger you and pull you back into that old pattern, and just keep filling that bubble, filling it until it gets so big and you don't have anything left to fill it with. And then ask the highest and most loving angels to come down and transmute that energy into everything that serves your highest and greatest good, and then let it go, and just know that all that's going to come back to you as a brilliant gift seated in the timeline of your future. So you can do anything, but it's just really nice to stay with these lunar cycles. And so I just want to do kind of a quick read for the red and blue path real quick, just to see. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of playing right now, but it's fun. I haven't gotten to play in a while with the red and blue path. So I'm going to do the red path. And since we're stepping into the 20s, the horrid 20s. Oh my gosh. Okay, so since we're here, I just want to kind of look at where we are in the energy. So I'm throwing cards to my side here. I know you can't see, but you're going to see me looking down. So I'm just throwing some cards out to see what could be coming up. And so the block that I see that's a big block for you is throat chakra, not being able to speak your truth, and even telling lies because you feel like the lie's better than telling the person the truth. And again, you're dealing with relationships and your power in relationships, whether you use your voice to manipulate or somebody's taking your power away and you don't feel like your voice is good enough, strong enough. Whatever it is, this is coming up as the potential duality here over the 20s of the November month. And so just make sure that you're really speaking your truth. By doing this, you get the manifest and evolution energy here, which the evolution energy is all about the phoenix that burns down the old and moves into the new, right? That transcends into the new. And this is all about high self and connection to your power. So you have this real transformation happening for you when you can use your voice in a really powerful way, where you're not swallowing the truth, where you're not suppressing the truth, where you're not telling lies because you're scared of the truth. When you are speaking your full authentic truth, you really have this phoenix moment where you can transcend a lot of the old paradigm that you've kind of had showing up over and over that prevents you from getting to that next stage, that next level. And then the manifesting card, which is basically what you've intended to manifest, your 1111, all of these wishes, dreams, intentions, hopes. It's all there. But for you, it's really about healing the shadow of the throat chakra. And healing the shadow of the throat chakra means, I feel like I need to mix these back in. Healing the shadow of the throat chakra means that even if you think you've done your throat chakra work, you haven't. There's something in there that's deeper, that still needs to be healed, that still needs to be spoken, that still needs to come out. And so the more you trust in the words and in the feelings and the energy that you're being presented with, the clearer that block is going to remove and not be something that you have to kind of deal with moving forward. So for the blue path and what we can be experiencing, lots of good things coming out. Oh my goodness, I knew I had to mix that back in because your throat chakra also. I actually did a crystal bowl last night, and I had something in my throat chakra at the very end of it. I was, a crystal bowl session. It was an hour-long session, meditative, where they do play the crystal bowls, and the frequencies are just so phenomenal for healing the body energetically, physically, all levels and layers. And right towards the end, there was this knot in my throat that came out. I had to cough, and then my eyes started swelling up and tearing. It was like such a block that got removed. And so I guess this is a collective thing that we're all going through right now, is about really speaking our truth and feeling comfortable with our truth, because here we go with the blue path, you get the deceit card too, which is shadow side of the throat chakra. So for you, it's about speaking your truth. all over these 20s of this month, it's just making sure that your truth is coming out above all else. No fear in speaking it. And for you, this puts you in a really vulnerable spot. You get Archangel Shamuel, who is all about heart chakra, who's all about being vulnerable and allowing yourself to just be out there and exposed. And so for you, this is a really powerful time to just allow yourself to be exposed while using the truth of your words. And this for you, where Red Path has a phoenix moment where they actually burn down an old version of themselves and transform into this new version. For you, it's a caterpillar to butterfly moment, same kind of thing, but it's all in your human reality, which is really cool. So, where theirs was more of a spiritual burning down and shifting, yours is like your human reality is going to shift and change. So, there's going to be very physical things that show up to indicate that you've made this change. And so where Red Path is going to be kind of thinking differently and tapped into new thoughts and different things, your Blue Path, you are literally going to have physical things shift. Like you're going to want to change your hair color. You're going to want to move. You're going to want to shift. It's like you're going to have actual things in your reality change to reflect the transformation that you've made. And so it's all about speaking that truth, though, which is and can be so very hard. But as a collective, we will all promise to do it for ourselves, but also as we do it for ourselves, we know that it's helping the collective energy shift that throat chakra dysfunction. I guess we've all been swallowing a lot of our truths. And so our collective goal, I guess, over the 20th of this month all the way to the 30th is going to be really to just be completely honest with ourselves and everybody who comes into our path, because that's really going to propel all of us forward. And at the 30th of this November month, you should really get the validation. Red Path, you'll get the validation by literally having a totally new outlook. Like your goals should shift. Things internally, it's your non-physical reality should really just get like a total makeover. You almost will feel like a totally different person and not know why inside, right? Where Blue Path, it's going to be a totally different person because you've changed, you look different, you feel different, you've lost weight, you've gained weight, who knows, good things both ways, you've moved, you've scheduled the vacation, you have literally changed and carved out something physical to reflect the change that you've made. And so this is what I leave you with. Have a fantastic duality part of this month. Enjoy the triggers, because the triggers are what help and remind you of the things that are just coming up to be released, to be let go of, so that you can step into that perfection of yourself come the end of this month. With light and love.